Hey VC, friends and family and everybody, how's it going? Coming at you at night on December 1st with the music update. I've got some records that were sent to me and one that I'm going to buy, but wasn't planning on it, but it's like the opportunity came. So I want to show them to you. But I want to start by shouting out to a couple folks that I actually watched a bit of their videos. It's been a long time. Zeke the Geek, Zach, out in Colorado. Zach, your collection is just, since you started making videos here, I don't consistently watch, but I see what you show on Facebook all the time, and your collection, especially the old psychedelia and records from the 70s, just in general, a lot of that obscure stuff that I don't see around here, man, you're finding it. I remember those records from my childhood. I remember seeing them. It's like, man, you're picking them up. It's great. And then also Henry Dereck made a new video. Really good to see you, Henry. If you see this, just, man, your collection is really just, I don't even know how to describe it, because you have just stuff. It's like, man, where did you find that? You know, and only someone like you would know about that. Henry Dereck, glad to see you back. And so I got this package, and what's interesting is that it was sent to the wrong house. Thank goodness my neighbor brought it to me. Someone I'd never met. He, see this strange person knocking at my door, and he said, "This package came to my house. I'm pretty sure it's you." I said, "Yeah, it sure is." Thank goodness. I don't know if that's happened before. It probably has, and I never got the records. But thank goodness this one got here, because it's from Mr. Trendkill 2. Wow. What VCLT. What nice records. Let me get this together, because you sent me some great items for my collection. I just really appreciate it. I'll start off with a brand new album. He sent me a brand new album. He explained, the circumstance about it. Chat Noir. Electric Cities. This is a 2014 release on Rare Noise Records. It's a collaboration between three people in 3 different cities. And I've listened to this all the way through. I'm going to put it on again. It does have some scratches, as you say, but no big deal. The music can be listened to online as well. Really like this. Turn it down just to make sure we don't have copyright problems. That was less than 30 seconds of it, I think. Chat Noir. I'll try to remember to put in the annotations so you can see the title of this, since I'm not able to say it well. Scratch right there. We'll skip. He also sent me, with this is mind-blowing to get one of these. And he also invokes the name of Big Star 1000, who, again, I need to catch up on. It's been so long since I watched Fred. But one of the true heavy, to me, just one of the heavy cats when I think of the BC, even though I am not watching a lot. It's just this landscape of my mind, the way that I see the BC always in my head. Big Star 1000 is just one of the main cats. And Batsumi, apparently, is something that Fred has shown. And this is a South African album. This is a reissue. This is a 3rd reissue of it, third or 4th reissue. Originals of this go for $600 up. This is fantastic. It speaks a lot about why I, have respect for certain, people in particular that I'll speak about in the VC over the years. Big Star 1000 being one. Just, the guy's got a good ear. This is incredibly excellent. Tribal, African, psychedelic, free, jazz, pop, all of that plus moody ambient piano going back into the whole ensemble. This record is amazing. And Mr. Trendkill, you blow me away. You sent me one of the clear vinyl ones. Wow. Oh man. I have already played this twice. Today, I just got it today, and this is just so good. It's kind of like it starts off pretty good, and then when the voice comes in, and then when they go into the first solos, wow, psychedelic. It goes to another level. Yeah, this is one worth babbling about. Batsumi. As you can hear this, or hopefully you can hear, maybe you can't, but check this out. This is really good. This Chat Noir. He sent me 2 other albums. This one I'm really happy to get. Les Ormes Piccola Rhapsodia dell'Ape. This is one of their. This is from 1980. Italian band that started out pop in the 60s and went into prog. This is still prog, but it's got that kind of slightly, you know, more mainstream compared to the early. Actually, I like this. Not a problem. I like this a lot, actually. Wow. Mind-blowing package of music that I received today. These are just... And this is perfect because this I add to my Les Ormes. I don't have many Les Ormes albums. I've got a few. Just pull up over here. Just a couple. I had more than... See, then when I put things away too quickly. I have some singles as well, but I have these 2 Les Ormes albums, Contrapunte, and I also have their live album, In Concerto, Les Ormes. So nice, I can add this one to the there are 3 albums now, really nice. And then the one that really just takes the cake is the Bass Communion. I just received this other Bass Communion album from Gus, and now I received this Bass Communion. This is I've had it on CD. This is the first Bass Communion I had on CD that I actually, you know, made my own CD of, burned a CD copy of, but to have this on double vinyl, tone float, wow. White vinyl, slight seam split at the top, big deal. Of course we don't like that, but can't complain. My goodness, you know, yes, it's excellent. You know, I add this to my Bass Communion Steven Wilson collection, Porcupine Tree. Besides that, I already had this and Loss on CD, and it has a DVD in it. I thought I had brought my other, yes. And I have 2 more Bass Communion albums. I have Bass Communion Live in Mexico. On green vinyl, and I also have the Loss, Bass Communion Loss on picture disc. So a wonderful addition to my collection of Steven Wilson. And on top of that, yesterday, just the synchronicity or the timing of things is so nice sometimes. Yesterday, an old friend who's, we go back many years, Scott, stopped by the house to pick up his copy of Murphy, which he bought as a fundraising. he helped with the fundraiser, but he hasn't been by the house in a long time, and so he said he'd stop by, also for kind of a holiday visit. And he had a bag with him of some stuff, and I could see, looks like he's got something with him, and sure enough. And what it is he had with him was Stephen Wilson's Insurgentes 4 10-inch LP inside book edition of the album. This was still sealed, and he had the story is has two. They were both still sealed, and he said, well, one of these is the 4 LPs and one is the DVD and the CDs, but I haven't unsealed them. I don't know which one is which, and I said, I definitely will buy whatever you want. It just fell in my lap. I said, I'll buy the vinyl. So Insurgentes by Stephen Wilson of Porcupine Tree, the limited edition book version. I got to pop the seal on it and everything. It has four 10-inch records, and I love Stephen Wilson's work. I love his aesthetic. I love he himself is a vinyl junkie, so he approaches his work with we collectors in mind. And I really didn't think that I would be having a copy of this, because I just don't really, have the money to spare for these collector's items like I have in the past. So when that became available to me just out of the blue, I was like, gotta have it. So, bunch of new, that's a bunch of new records to add to my collection. I also have been listening to quite a bit of music, and I'll stay fairly musical on this one. There's just so much to say, and I'm just watching, you know what I'm saying, because this world is crazy, and it's not going to do the right thing. The right thing is, people are trying. Some people are really trying, and some people are really trying to screw up too. It's just ridiculous. But I've been playing records. Besides working on music, I've been very busy. But some records that are still sitting out because I keep putting them away. But I was listening to this guitarist, Jukka Talonen. I think he's from Finland. I think that's where he's from. A Passenger to Paramaribo. Really fine guitarist. This is a funky album. Came out in 1977. So many folks who know this guy's playing. Really has his own style. Just kind of funky, but also melodic. Really melodic. Love Jukka Talonen. I was listening to him. There's the Batsumi. I watched John Coltrane's latest video. Hadn't watched in a while, but he showed this, and I played it because I love it. Wiederhorn by Kron, German jazz rock band from the 70s. I think they're still going, actually, but this is like from 1977. Really good album. Really good. I showed this online, and Brett Helm from Life on This Planet blog was saying, is that Yanni on the cover? Brett. Speaking of Brett, he had shown on Facebook his version of Matt Johnson's Burning Blue Soul. He has a reissue of it. This is an original on 4AD. Came out in 1981. The guy that started the band, This is sublime. This is fantastic. First solo album. I was also listening to New Order, Movement. Again, inspired by conversations online. But this is my original copy that I bought in 1981. This is a UK version. I've kept it in pristine condition. It's just a fantastic album. I've played this twice, all the way through in the last couple days. Been listening to The Residents. Tunes of Two Cities is one of my favorites by them. This makes me tap my toes and my head swivels. This is just really some cool stuff. And George Gershwin comes to mind in a strange way when I hear this album. The Residents. Yeah, here's that bass communion album that I have. I forget the person's name, but someone sent me Rome, and I was dismissive at first, but now this has grown on me. There's several songs, a couple of them in particular that Norah Jones sings. I don't recall the titles offhand, but those are the ones I like the most. And a neat textured cover, or however they do that. So that's been a pleasant surprise to find that I actually like about a third of that album. Techno, 12-inch single by Oliver Hack, Polar. It's just 2 tracks, but this is hypnotic and just fantastic. You know, this is one that I just put on, you know, I usually listen to it a couple times because it's just so, yeah. I don't sound like this in what I do at all. This is the kind of thing I could endeavor to try to do something like. Felt, Goldmine Trash. It's just one of those bands that, I don't know, they hit me in the right spot. I only have a couple of Felt albums, but I love this. Elizabeth Fraser from Cocteau Twins sings with Lawrence on the track Primitive Painters, which is on here. Gorgeous like the cover. The cover is really good for this album. Played good old Genesis. I love this album. And I have a Japanese pressing of it. Home by the Sea, and then the B-side. I like the B-side of this really well, you know. Silver Rainbow, yeah. Genesis, my dogs, whatever. I love Genesis. Played this 12-inch single by Radiohead with 2 non-album B-sides. Go to Sleep. Really good. They're working on some new stuff. Looking forward to hearing that. Radiohead. Told you I've been playing some records. Here's an album that was given to me by Chris Cole a long time ago. Didn't really care for it at first. I like it better. I'm glad I just keep stuff, you know. Crazy Dreams Band. It's on the raw side, but it's it's wild. Primal. Psychedelic, not really. Kind of messy with the sound and kind of sort of like Can in that with the rhythms and the rhythm section being primal. I like this. Crazy Dreams Band. Been playing this. John Hopkins Immunity. Recent VCLT. It's just cool to play it on vinyl. Studying how he does what he does. Really, that's, to be honest, what I'm doing is I'm kind of studying this. Hadn't played Django in a long time. The French guitarist whose hand got mangled in a fire, and in spite of that, played like nobody else. Django Reinhardt, Swing It Lightly. Some recordings from the late 50s and early 60s here on this. Really good. This playing is wonderful. Another one inspired by Zeke the Geek, actually, posting this online. Azar Lawrence, Bridge into the New Age. Saxophonist, jazz. This is 1974, yeah. With Woody Shaw. Just a great lineup. Woody Shaw, Billy Hart, Guillermo Franco, Julian Priester. Great stuff. Joe Bonner, who unfortunately just passed away. Joe Bonner. Rest in peace. You know, a friend of mine's son, actually, I just heard that a friend of mine that I worked with the whole time at Community Alliance, where I worked at for 27 years. This woman, Joanne, also worked there. I won't say her last name, but her kids, when I started working there, her kids were just little boys. You know, they were twins. And I remember, you know, bouncing them on my knee and stuff as little kids at the parties and stuff, and watching them grow up. And they got into trouble, you know, and, you know, got into meth and stuff. And unfortunately, one of them I just heard yesterday died. So it kind of bums me out, you know. Kids, seeing kids that, you know, young adults that, they were kids. They're kids to me, you know, and they're dead or they're dying already. The Names, Belgian band, Calcutta Postcards on Factory Benelux. This was just a golden period for singles and single type of songs. The 80s, for me, I thought it was just a great time. Quill, this band actually played at Woodstock. 1969 this album came out. I forget where they are from. Their American band. There's a kind of a swampy bluesiness, but also kind of a weirdness to this as well. Quill. Had this forever, and I'm glad I've kept it. Really good. Quill. Played Silver Apples. This is quite collectible now. Early electronics. Simeon and the guy with the oscillators, a drummer and oscillator. And this album cover just basically ruined this label, Cap. The band got Pan Am's permission to use the cockpit on the cover, on the front cover, but they didn't clear this picture in the back with the company, and they were pissed to see this, you know, destroyed. You can't quite see it in this picture. Look it up online, but it's the jet destroyed, you know. And apparently Pan Am sued the hell out of Cap Records to the point that it put the right label out of business, literally. So Silver Apples, besides being notable for being early electronic rock, notable for putting their record company out of business, literally. I read the story online from this guy here, an interview with him. But this is great music, really ahead of its time. My brother was over a few days ago for Thanksgiving, and we listened to some good jazz, as well as I had him do some tracks to some of my music. Gonna try to get him on one of my records. But we listened to Joe Henderson, Inner Urge. Oh man, just fantastic. Bob Crenshaw, McCoy Tyner, Elvin Jones on Blue Note. We'll listen to Unity, Larry Young's Unity. Wow. Wow. Again, Joe Henderson. Oh. Man. Whew. And then, of course, we used to play Trading In, so my brother Patrick requested this John Coltrane Trading In. We played this for years. What can be said? And then, this is one of the few records I have on the Sacred Bones label. Factum. This is good. The Sistrum. This again has got that psychedelic, but in a kind of primitive way, you know, beating on, it's like beating on log drums, and things are lo-fi, but really felt. Yeah, this is good. I like this. Listening to some Eno. More Blank Than Frank. This is not a greatest hits, but it has an interesting cross-section of songs on here. Here She Comes, Everything Merges with the Night, Backwater, St. Elmo's Fire. I love the work of Brian Eno. Some contemporary music on the CRI label. These are cool if you see them and you're into this sort of thing, contemporary classical, sometimes early electronic music. I try to pick stuff up on this label, and this one is very good. Two pieces, or two composers, William Matthews and Ramon Zupko. Ramon Zupko. And getting back, oh, there's still more. I listen to this. Bill Bruford's band, Bruford, signed by the bass player Jeff Berlin when I went to one of his bass clinics when he came through Omaha many years ago and did a bass clinic at one of the music stores, and I attended and took this and had him sign it. Gradually Going Tornado. This one is okay. The music is great, but this one they try to have vocals on it with Jeff Berlin singing, trying to deal with that idea of commercial appeal. It doesn't work. The vocals don't work, but the compositions are musically still excellent. So, still like this. Composer, trumpeter Michael Matler, who's done a lot of work with Carla Bley. I pulled this, Something There. Hadn't played it in a while. This starts off in a way where you think it's all dry and stuff, and I'm not going to get into this, but just keep it, just stick with it, and it warms up. And this is really good. Somewhere between jazz and progressive, I don't know. Nick Mason of Pink Floyd plays drums on this. Michael Matler, Something There. Interesting stuff. This I played back when, after the verdict of Ferguson, I will mention it. Art Ensemble of Chicago, People in Sorrow. This album is deep. It's really somber and ambient and quiet for the most part, and just really was just capturing where I was at. I'm just feeling this whole time, you know. It's not, Ferguson is just a matchstick. That's just a microcosm of the larger thing that's playing out. It's not about whether or not the cop and Michael Brown thing. It's far beyond that. People want to argue about gnats and fleas and shit, and it's a bigger issue that's been ongoing forever, that really encompasses everyone, not just black people and people of color. And it affects everyone. The thing is, I gotta just say this here, many people, because they have no reason to be knowing, have no idea that some of the things that I'm alarmed about really affect them as well. People who think that the system is there and it's stable and it's in place and it's there for them. Well, I'm paying attention, folks. I'm paying attention, you know, because things are going to get strange here in the next few years. It might not take much longer for it to get stranger. It's pretty strange now. If you look at the world events, and the thing is, you cannot know, but there's dissent and turmoil in the streets worldwide every day. Okay. John McCrae gave this to me, and I love this. The Freeborn, Peak Impressions. There's some bluesy stuff on here which I don't care for, but this band did the psychedelic thing. It was great. They were great. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I've put away so many different things. I've been playing a lot of different things. But then the stack gets to be huge down here, and I got to put things away. So I made this video at night. It's about a half hour, and that's why I'm letting it go so long, because I'm going to let it upload, you know, at night, so it can take hours, and I will just, you know, I'm going to go to bed while it's uploading, and I think I'll just really keep this on. Well, no, I'm just going to just be real. You know, the thing that I'm really concerned about is that we've got to have, I think we've got to have intelligent minds speaking out and saying, don't fall for the manipulation. Don't fall for the manipulation that somehow we need to have a race war. ever since I was a kid, there has always been talk of literature. I can't be more specific at the moment, but that I've been exposed to for different reasons, in different ways, through my parents and also through my activism starting at a young age. I've been aware that there's always been this train of thought that says that there is going to eventually be a race war in America, that it's inevitable. And I got to a point in my life at the late in the 90s and into the early 2000s where I thought to myself, we just might buck that. We might get by without that damned race war. For a minute I thought. But what I'm trying to say is I can't prove anything, but I see it clearly in my life and my worldview. Been seeing this unfolding since I can remember in my life. That it seems that there is a thread of a plan, or there's a connection between many world events going back many decades, wars and stuff, and they all seem to be connected, and there seems to be things beyond my ability to really able to say well, but I see it connected with finance and the history of who has what finance, where, and this whole thing that's unfolding now. I'm just not falling for it. It seems like it's part of the plan. This chaos. It seems like the globalist or someone. I'll even say it. Even this, maybe somebody like the Rockefellers or somebody. Just they've got to have the unfolding of their agenda by creating a crisis so that they can present the solution. And if it isn't Ebola, which they made damn sure it's in America, they brought it here, How insane is that? I don't care what you say to me about the reasoning behind that. That's insane. It's to me, it's like right in our face. We're going to do shit, It's accidentally coming into the country. Well, here, let's make sure it gets here, But then in relation to the Ferguson and the beefing up of the police force, and then the overwhelming national trend of just police being heavy and overly inhumane to people, and it's been caught on video time and time again. Fuck the debunkers. Enough of it is happening that it's like, it's not about race, It's like everybody's nothing to the whoever is behind things like the Georgia Guidestones, where they just want, 500 million people, that's a whole lot there's billions of people. They got to get rid of a lot of folks, and they're certainly not thinking about, look who they're trying to get rid of first, And then that thing that Bill Gates has said about vaccinations, the idea that, vaccinations and things can be helpful towards reducing population. It's like, I heard that. Anyway, this stuff creeps out, I had to say it, you know what I mean? So don't fall for it, people. It's like, this whole Hegelian approach to things, divide and conquer and create the problem and then create the solution. It's like, it's been done to us so many times before that it's like there's enough knowledge, there's enough people that it doesn't have to be successful again. This insistent action for the America to be in the Middle East and have their foot in the middle of that and trying to just mess shit up over there. It's like, no matter how they try to justify it, none of it makes sense, and none of it's for humanitarian, productive, progressive reasons. Just like, don't you even notice, isn't it weird how we have this so-called black president and the way he responds? Not that he's supposed to have a black response to Ferguson, but the some of you know what I mean, who have experience with being black in America. It's like, Obama being whatever his ethnicity is, but his brownness is not a factor in what he can and cannot do in regards to it, seemingly, when it comes to actually representing black people in America. I don't know who he represents, I don't know who doesn't represent people that he grew up with, I don't know. I've gone on for a while here, but I left it at the end, so that's why that, it's so long that, people that don't want to hear me talk about this stuff, they tuned me out a long time ago. I'm just expressing thoughts, and that's all I can do, because, the shit's going to play out, and it's going to play out in a destructive manner. It has to, before there can be a solution, it has to fall apart. It has to. So, I don't know. I just think I don't know. It seems like it's worthwhile to express it. That somehow, that it's not a waste of breath to even be talking like this in my videos. I don't know. There's something inside of me that says to just keep doing this.